Welcome, sports fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the Sports Nerd joins forces with three charismatic co-hosts who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude that are known in Nerd Nation as the Rampage. We are four of the most loudmouth, smack-talking nerds around, coming at you with some sick rips and rants, which may be just enough to make you pee your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Let's rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Lakeland, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd. Right.
What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am the talking wounded, as Elliot says, with the bad voice tonight, but we'll get through it. We'll manage to get through the next 60 minutes and have a show. I am joined, as usual, by my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E Lamba, coming to you from Bradenton, Florida, and Mr. John G. Olson, coming to you outside Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
What? No.
Outside.
No, I'm nowhere near Calgary.
Edmonton, excuse me.
Thank
Edmonton.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to insult you with that Calgary mention. I apologize.
He's the thinking wounded now.
Yeah, I'm the thinking wounded as well. Correct. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Thank you. Anthony, good to see you. Thank you for watching on Twitch. Brett, happy holidays to you as well. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Gentlemen, this has been an interesting week 12 of the NFL season.
And it all started Thursday.
Let's start with the Thursday games, and I'm going to pass the mic off to Mr. John G. Olson and the Buffalo Bills and their win against the hapless, well, not so hapless, Detroit Lions.
First of all, they're not hapless, okay?
No.
They're really not.
No.
They're really good.
They're
actually.
not hapless. They're not hapless. You want to rant? I got a rant, Anthony.
Go ahead, John.
Stop putting the Bills on Thanksgiving. Last year we had Tre'Davious White tear his ACL, and then on this one,
Von Miller.
We had Von Miller sprain his knee, and we don't know the extent of that.
They're saying 7 to 10 days, but I think it's going to be longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. It is what it is.
All the turf talk came up after that.
Yeah, the turf monsters. Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm happy that they won. It was a satisfying win. There's still some issues across the board with that team, but it's almost like the Bills have just been decimated by injuries all season long.
Right.
They lose Micah Hyde for the season. As soon as that happened, it's just like every week it's like one guy gets hurt and another guy comes back, and then the next week it's another guy gets hurt and another guy comes back. And it's not like podunk guys that are getting hurt either. I mean, it's Von Miller.
Yeah.
It's Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
It's dudes that are like Tremaine Edmonds needed for this defense to click.
Right.
So it's been frustrating on that end. And then to top it all off, they've had to play this, the Snowmageddon. They had to go to Detroit because of the snowstorm in Buffalo last week. Turn around 5 days, come back and play in Detroit again. It was rough. We got the 2 wins, so that's good. The problem is this freaking AFC East division is just winning, and they have this cupcake schedule. Like they play like Houston Texans. I mean, the Chicago Bears minus Justin Fields. I mean, we literally have to win every game out. I think there was schedule guys that said, if we still want to win the East, we have to win every game except for one. And that's a tough task. We basically got to beat all the AFC East guys going forward, but with everyone hurt and it seems like we're on the road too all the time. We don't seem to be even. Well, yeah,
even 2 games in Detroit. Yeah, you're kind of on the road.
Yeah, for sure. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm happy that we got the wins, and Josh to Steph is just beautiful things.
Yes.
I love watching it. And Josh Jacobs just walked it off.
Oh, Jesus.
Goodbye, Seattle.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. Bro.
Is that 2 in a row for the Raiders? Is that 2 wins in a row for the Raiders?
You know what pisses me off about that? I traded Josh Jacobs this week.
You know what pisses me off is that Devontae Adams and CMC did absolutely nothing for my fantasy teams today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guess who I'm playing against? My kid.
Oh, geez.
I saw my kid today, too. I took him out for lunch, and he's just like, oh, look, you got a 75% chance of winning this, and that. I'm like, listen, don't get cocky, okay? Like, I know that means I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
And there you go. Anyways, yes, back to Buffalo. Go Buffalo.
Yeah.
Go Bills.
And your schedule is the next 3 weeks you're playing all division opponents.
AFC East teams next 3 weeks. Then we got Chicago too coming through there.
You're at New England and you're at home with the Jets and the Dolphins. At the Bears week 16, and then you got to stretch. The last 2 games are the Bengals and the Patriots at home. So you're going to end with the Patriots at home. So I mean, your next 5 games are going to be brutal, dude. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Your next 6, 5 out of 6 games will be brutal because the Bears. I'm not worried about the Bears and you guys. The Jets with the reemergence of Mr. Mike White today are a different team than if they were under, as opposed to if Zach Wilson was under center. So yeah, you guys got a rough stretch, Chad. It's probably going to come down to the last game of the season as to where you're going to end up as far as seedings are concerned. You've got to hope that Kansas City stumbles somewhere down the road. But you and I both know that's not a possibility. That's a very slim possibility, rather. My folks. I was at my folks for the holiday on Thursday, and I didn't get to see a lot of football because they don't like football. So I had to beg them to put the games on. And between conversations, I could watch, get glimpses out the corner of my eye of what was going on. Josh again was not traditional Josh. I mean, he was
okay, dude. He was good. I mean, that interception was a really bad play call, and it was a tipped ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got 3 touchdowns. You know, he did 250 yards.
And he
was on the ground too.
Diggs in the last 30 seconds or whatever.
Was that so?
I said, and he made that incredible throw to Diggs.
Yeah.
When they only had 30 seconds left.
It's funny. Josh seems to be more accurate when he's bombing it compared to when he's doing those little medium range throws.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get picked off on the bombs. He gets picked off on
the dink and dunks.
The dink and dunks. And it was a red zone interception, so that'll get the haters going. But dude, I don't know. I mean, this is the problem. Josh is like this alien that people think that needs to have 400 yards and 100 yards on the ground to have like a Josh Allen game. But I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, 250 yards, got the dub, but more importantly, got that throw to Diggs, like you said, Elliot, when he needed it the most. While Jared Goff, I don't know what that 3rd and 1 play was, but that basically gave us the win. Jared Goff didn't step up when he needed to, and that's, I think, what the difference is. The difference between a guy like Josh and a guy like Jared Goff is that Josh is clutch, man. There's no narrative that says that he can't do things.
Yeah.
QBR is such a bogus stat.
Yeah, well, Goff didn't have a bad game. I mean, he threw for 240.
No, he did the same thing. He did like 2 touchdowns and 250 yards too, right?
But he's missing the one thing that Josh Allen has, the clutch gene.
Yes, I agree.
That is a real thing.
Yeah.
It is. And that was just amazing to watch. And exhale, right? I mean, it was just like, thank goodness we got the win. That was a really rough 2 weeks for us, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the rest of the season. I think if Vaughn is hurt for the entire season, like I think if he's done, that's our Super Bowl chance.
Yeah.
Because we need Vaughn. Like, he's the closer. So, we need him to shut things down. I don't know. I mean, the offense is weird, man. It's almost like when Dable left, he took something with him, and now Ken Dorsey is having a hell of a time trying to. It just seems to be they just don't seem to be able to. If you remember the first two games of the season, they were able to just move it at will, and it was because it wasn't just. I hate to say it, it wasn't just throwing. It was Josh running. It was a little bit of Josh, a little bit of that Sugar High Josh. Not Sugar High Josh throwing it, but Sugar High Josh design runs and Sugar High Josh, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it, John, is that the running game is the weakness of this team, because when your quarterback is a leading rusher, there's an issue there.
Well, there's no. You see that I'm gonna call you on that one.
Okay, why?
Because the offensive game plan doesn't give the running game an opportunity. Okay. They are pass and Josh Allen run first.
Yeah.
Okay. And that helps you to win. But at the same time, when you don't have that balance, that can cost you at times. Not that Kansas City has any kind of explosive running game.
Right, they don't.
Okay.
Edwards Helaire doesn't scare anybody, so.
But if Buffalo were more balanced, I believe they'd be a juggernaut. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Yeah. It's just, you bring in. I mean, it seems to be, and you need Josh Allen. Yeah, you need him to do certain things. Okay. But there are times where I believe they're limited, when it comes to the running game, because they don't put any emphasis on it.
Yeah, it's the running back by committee, and I understand why they do it, but I don't think they should do it for this offense. I think fluidity. A bell cow. Sorry?
There's no fluidity for anyone.
Well, Devin gets going, and then he's pulled for James Cook. And then James Cook, get like Naeem Hines, we traded for him, and we barely use him. Like, we use him for punt return.
Yeah, he only had one carry Thursday.
Special team guy.
I think, yes, I think so too, Brett. I think Singletary needs to be the bell cow. And if you're 3rd and 3 or something, then you bring in James for a little different set out of the backfield, different look out of the backfield. But Singletary should be the bell cow, like totally. He needs that. That's how he gets going.
How would that passing game open up more if Singletary were running the ball more?
Right. And did you see the news today? Who we signed?
No. Who'd you sign?
Smoke is back. Yeah. John Brown.
John Brown, really?
Brought him back. Yep. Yeah. He signed today to the practice squad because he hasn't played all year, right? So and they elevated Xavier Rhodes off the practice squad to the 53 today too. Mm-hmm. So I think OBJ is a luxury that we're not going to get. And
did you hear what happened with OBJ today?
Yeah, he got kicked off the plane. Yeah.
Well, he was having spells of consciousness and unconscious.
Well, and according to his attorney, he actually fell asleep, and then because they couldn't wake him up, they brought it back. They brought the plane back to the hangar, and then at that point, they were able to wake him up and get him off the plane. I mean, I don't know if it was a medical episode or not, but to hear OBJ tell it wasn't as serious as people are letting on. And you know what? OBJ is OBJ, and whether it's serious or not, he's always going to be a controversy no matter what's going on.
Dude, look, again, I thought that was a luxury to begin with. I'm actually very happy with the John Brown.
Yeah, and you know what? Jerry Jones isn't going to let that issue that happened today going to affect him in signing OBJ. I think he's going to get signed with the Cowboys. Frankly, the Giants need him more, but I think he's going to sign with the Cowboys.
Well, who would you rather have throwing the ball, Dak Prescott or
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy for John Brown to come back to Buffalo, man. Him and Him and Josh were legit.
And they need him because Gabe Davis has been underperforming.
I was listening to a podcast this week and it described it perfectly. Gabe Davis was option number 3 last year. Option number 2 was Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
So Gabe Davis didn't get all the protection and all the coverage that he's getting now as our wide out 2. So having him kind of maybe even step back as not being the second option, let John Brown cook, man. That dude is legit over the top speed and will just cook dudes, especially against the Patriots. I don't know if you guys remember that a couple of years ago. That was the greatest touchdown in history. So, anyways, I'm pumped for that. So that's cautiously optimistic.
By the way, Josh Jacobs finished with 303 yards rushing.
Holy shit!
Are you kidding me?
And 49 fantasy points.
Holy cow! Wow.
And Devontae
That's
Adams
insane.
nothing.
2 touchdowns.
That is insane.
Madness,
303 yards.
Madness.
And I fucking traded him.
But yeah, John, I mean, the Bills, I mean, they're still top 2, 3 favorites in the AFC at this point. I want to say top 2. It's a wash between them and Kansas, but they've got the tiebreak against Kansas City. You need the Chiefs to stumble down the stretch in order for everything to come through Orchard Park. You're better off with the playoffs coming through Orchard Park than you having to go back to Kansas City and win again.
Yeah, but Arrowhead doesn't scare us.
They can win there.
We beat them last year and this year in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Arrowhead is not this Achilles heel of us.
Right.
It's the Chiefs in our head. You know, it's Chiefs in our head. Playoffs, Chiefs. We can't get over the hump.
Right.
It's the Patriots versus the Colts
all over again.
Back in
right.
the 2000s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's whatever. Anyways. I don't know. Yeah, who get Kansas City? Whatever. I mean, they had trouble with the Rams today.
They had a little bit of trouble. I mean, they still beat them 26 by 16 points, but the Rams defense gave Mahomes fits today. So yeah,
they've had the easiest schedule since after they played the Bills. After that, it's been easy as like same with the Dolphins and the Jets. Like these cupcake schedules are just so funny to me. Like, just, whatever. Anyway,
all right, moving on. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants showed on Thanksgiving Day that they need to move on from Daniel Jones. Okay. Daniel Jones is not the guy. He's got to go. Ken's not here, so congratulations to him for Dallas winning. That Minnesota New England game was pretty damn good, except New England got ripped off because Hunter Henry did score that touchdown.
You think that was a catch?
That was a catch, dude.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough angles of it, so I'm not going to pass my judgment until I can.
For once, the NFL went against the Patriots.
Right?
Okay, now moving on to your talk about your A team beating your B team.
A team beating the B team. Thank you very much, Elliot.
Hey, what's that like? Like, what's it like? Like, would you have been like so depressed if like the Browns lost? Like,
yes.
Really?
Yes. My fandom for Tampa Bay is non-existent these days. Non-existent.
Tom? You don't like Tom?
No, it's the ownership and it's just I'm all in on the Browns.
Wait a minute. Wait. You're all in on the Browns, but yet you've been criticizing their ownership for how long now?
Well, I've been criticizing the ownership. I've been criticizing the coaching staff. But, guys, what you have to understand is Northeast Ohio is where I grew up as a kid.
Well, I get it.
My grandfather and my father both were Browns fans. My whole family up there are Browns fans. And I will not give up on them. I don't care if O.J. Simpson is on the team. I'm going to root for my Browns, okay? I'm just saying. That's my fandom.
OJ to be honest.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just giving an analogy. Okay.
You got Deshaun Watson.
Yes, and I'm getting to that. So let me start first by saying thank you to Jacoby Brissett for the last 11 weeks. The man has put everything on the line and played his heart out for 11 weeks, knowing full well that was a temp job. He gave it his all. He went all in on the team and with the guys in the locker room, and he's the poster child for leadership and teammate for the NFL. That's the way it should be.
He's the consummate professional.
Yes, he is the consummate professional, and the players feed off of that. Nicholas Jamal Chubb is the best running back in the NFL. Come at
Josh Jacobs has something to say about that.
No.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Nicholas Jamal Chubb is the
sounds
best
like a
running
Homer
back in the
statement.
NFL. Period.
That's,
End of
very
discussion.
homerish. Very homerish. A very good top
homerish.
3 running back, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah, he's in the top tier of running backs.
Yes.
But to call him a outright best, no.
I'm getting the stats here.
He's looking at stats.
Nick, he had 26 carries for 116 yards, including the winning touchdown in overtime. And I'll tell you what.
But would he get those carries if he played in Buffalo?
Yeah, good point.
He might. He might.
That's what kills me about the Bills. Like, why didn't you trade for Kareem Hunt or like CMC? Like, what do we do? What do we do?
Looky at what I found. Hello, Mr. Ken
Ken's
Topo.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ken.
Wow.
Excellent.
You've missed the Bills propaganda. Now you've come into the middle of the Browns propaganda. Today's game, I watched it because it was actually broadcast here in Tampa because it's the Buccaneers. This team did not give up. They kept fighting and scrapping and coming back and just put everything out there. They were down. Excuse me. They were down 17-10 for the longest time. And that last drive that Brissett drew up was a thing of beauty. That last drive in the fourth quarter, to get them down there and put them in the end zone to tie the game.
You got to admit though, if Njoku doesn't make that ridiculous,
that catch was like, oh my God, that touchdown catch by Njoku today. That was a thing of beauty, Elliot, and then he did it with his left hand.
That was elite. That was an elite.
Yes, that catch by Njoku in the end zone was just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? He actually caught that ball. One hand it was his left hand, and he brought it back into his body, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then the overtime went back and forth. They had like 2 or 3 possessions each.
Wide receivers
and
doing something, or wide doing something to strengthen their hands to make one-handed catches. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Everybody's following the Odell model of pass catching.
But I just also want to thank I just also want to thank Amari Cooper for that long ass run after the catch in overtime to get us down to the 3-yard line. And then of course Nick just powered his way into the end zone for the win. As they flip the switch to Deshaun Watson, effective tomorrow. Again, I want to say Brissett has been the leader of this team for 11 weeks. Stefanski gave him the game ball afterwards because he deserved it. And he's going to continue to contribute even as the backup. So I'm looking forward to what happens the rest of the season. We're 4-7. Deshaun comes back next week. We'll see what happens. We got a hard stretch of games coming up, but The easiest. We actually have the Texans next week, so I'm not so worried about that game.
I think Brissett is going to be key in easing Watson into the game plan.
Yes, absolutely.
You see, I think that's where he's going to probably be the exclusive quarterback coach of Deshaun Watson.
Right.
The what do they call that? The de facto the de facto coach for Deshaun Watson coming back.
You know, let's face it, you can put Massillon High School out there and they can beat the Houston Texans. So
yeah.
Well, but you know what? That's perfect start for Watson.
How about that?
Yeah, that's a chunk. Didn't realize
the team where he did his harassing.
What Jacoby did during this season is earned his way to a starter's job somewhere else in the NFL for 2023.
By the way, hi, Brett.
So we'll see we'll see wherever he lands up. I don't think he's going to be here after this year. He probably end up somewhere to a team that really needs him. Texans, Cincy, and the Ravens the next 3 games. Thank you, Brett.
Speaking of Cincy, I'm sure John was happy that the Titans lost today.
I'm always happy when the Titans lose. Always happy when there's misery in Nashville.
And as far as the Ravens, I don't trust them.
Dude.
Jacksonville.
First of all, so I was on the road today, so I was listening to NFL radio. So and the guys on Sirius XM on the Fantasy Channel were losing their mind with Jacksonville. Like people were like it was like their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Shout out
when they scored
Jacksonville Jaguars.
How about the Jaguars?
Trevor Lawrence looked like the #1 overall pick on that last drive.
Yeah, Stephen Whittle was very pleased, guys. Just to let you know, John, he was very pleased.
When they scored that touchdown to top or eventually go ahead, that place went bananas. And you're right; it felt like their Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Well, then they hit the 2-point conversion, and their place was freaking nuts.
Yeah. Big shout out to Zay.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's have a word about the 67-yard field goal attempt right there at the end.
Yeah. Well, if he was 61, he would have got it right.
Not by much at all. No, if it would have been 65, he probably would have hit it.
Yeah. In fact, it was the angle they had from the back end zone, I thought he had made it almost. Yeah. And then
it was online. It was
online, absolutely. Yeah, he had the accuracy. Just a little short. But if anybody's going to hit
shout out to the Jaguars,
it's going to be him.
Big shout out to the Jaguars and their 20 fans. Big shout out. I know Stephen Whittle is watching. I just saw the notice that he is. So congratulations, Stephen. I know. I think he's one of 20 fans. So. Duval. I love it.
Yeah.
What else we got out there?
Well,
I'm sure they're happy.
Texans. I know John's happy about this. I know we touched base on it a little bit.
Who?
Texans. I mean, not the Bengals and the Titans.
The Bengals and Titans. Yeah.
Why are we touching on that? Why are we doing the loser games that no one cares about?
Okay, then we won't go there. Never mind.
Yeah. Like
Kenny, since you're late to the plan, what did you think of your Cowboys Thanksgiving Day?
I was quite pleased with them. I'm still waiting to see how much the tight ends are going to be fined for jumping in the thing. I think Zeke had to shell out about $10,000 last time he did that, but
that was pretty ingenious though. They were playing
whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole, yeah. Whack-a-mole. I thought it was pretty funny. Our tight ends pretty much dominated on offense. Scored 3 touchdowns, I believe, including 1 on a reverse.
Yeah.
Jet sweep, yeah. And they had one where the guy just flat out hurdled the defensive back.
Oh, the Hendershot.
Yeah.
Henderson. Well,
Was it
Henderson's
Ferguson?
when
It was
touchdown.
Ferguson.
It was Ferguson.
Ferguson is the one that
Ferguson.
totally
He's
hurdled.
done that before, and now he's incredible. That was the play of the game for me. But they're looking pretty good right now. So we shall see. I mean, they got
Zeke had a decent game for a
week
change. I mean, he ran for 92 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 5.8 yards a carry.
Yep.
So Zeke had a decent game.
Zeke had a decent game. Pollard had a fairly decent game. He's not getting
Pollard's
as many
game was
catches.
pedestrian. I think Pollard's game was a little pedestrian compared to what he's been doing.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Zeke was
that's because of the
himself back.
that's because of the workload they gave to Zeke. But
Yeah.
as long as they're running like that, I'm happy. So two-headed monster, pick your poison.
And there was a Michael Gallup sighting too. He
There
actually
was
caught 5
another Michael
passes.
Gallup sighting, and who knows if OBJ ever wakes up from his flight, then they can get him off the damn plane.
Well, we were talking about that earlier too. I don't think
so.
that issue this morning is gonna prevent Dallas from signing OBJ.
I'm being facetious.
You know, Jerry
I
Jones doesn't care about off the field antics. You know that very well.
No. I'd like to see him in a star in his helmet, so we shall see. I mean, we can always use another weapon. I keep hearing that he's going to
have
Buffalo.
any weapons now. I mean, good God.
Hmm?
But yeah, it's not as if you don't have any weapons now. But yeah, you know.
Well, hey, we need all the help.
More
we
the
can get.
merrier, right?
That's right. We're not going to catch the Eagles. I mean, that's done and dusted. But we're going to make them sweat a little bit, hopefully. So.
What are you laughing about, John?
Okay. I got to reference this because again, I wasn't watching tonight. I was listening. And if you guys ever get satellite radio, you've got to listen to the fantasy football guys during Sunday afternoons, like the sick of it pieces and stuff. These two were rolling on the ground laughing. And like it was a good 5 minutes of them rolling on the ground. And they described what it was. Have you guys seen the big hat from Brian Robinson?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the greatest. I gotta save this. I'm gonna save this. Well, no, here I'll share my screen if I can. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, look at this. Look at it. Like, oh wait. Hold on. This is the greatest thing I've ever. Like, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a big hat.
Oh my God. That thing is huge.
Dude, look at the size of that thing.
It looks like a mascot hat.
Dude, that's the greatest thing ever. He was interviewed post game. He's like, my friend has a company called Big Hats. If you want a hat, get at me. And he's walking around with that hat on his head. Oh my gosh, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my gosh.
That makes a sombrero look like a beanie.
That's the best. Oh, wow.
I mean, looking at the Cowboys schedule, Ken, and yes, it is that's one of the most funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Mina Kimes commented that she says, "Is there a little hat inside the big hat, or what's going on with that?"
That is the greatest.
Looking at your schedule, Ken, you got the Colts, the Texans, the Jags, the Eagles, the Titans, and the Commanders. It's not a very difficult schedule, to be honest. It really is.
The first three aren't, but the last three are.
The last three are going to be the key. I mean, you're playing Philly at home. You've already lost to them once this year, but you got. I mean, and then you're going to finish the season on the road at Tennessee and at Washington. So we'll see what happmes.
And Washington's looking better and better all the time.
So. I mean, they had a great game today.
Yeah.
I'm Heineke. I'm with Brett. When are the Commanders going to put Taylor Heineke as their full time and as their franchise quarterback? The kid can ball.
I I think
I
I
don't know
heard
what they're waiting
mention that
for.
that's what they're doing. That he will be their quarterback going
Yeah,
forward.
I mean the kid can ball. He's proven. He's got guts. He's got emotion.
And Carson Wentz loses again.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think Carson Wentz is done in the NFL as a starting quarterback, Elliot, to be honest with you. I think he's done.
Oh,
I think he's turned out to be the Ryan Leaf of this
Well,
era.
I mean, he was that
oh my god.
that knee injury was more devastating than I guess we ever realized. So it
There was almost a Nathan Peterman sighting today.
Right. John walked away.
Peterman. How does this guy still have a job in the NFL? Please, Lord, please explain this to me. Because if I did my job as bad as he does, how does he still have a job? Someone explain it to me, please.
Who, Peterman?
Thank you for
Peterman?
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know, John.
I
How
don't
did
know.
Charlie Whitehurst have a job? And he did nothing but carry a clipboard all the time?
Clipboard Jesus.
Fox NFL, the panel discussion was talking about who would take over the Broncos if they changed coaches. And I'm thinking, well, Ed McCaffrey's available since he's been let go by Northern Colorado, so
Yeah.
he would be available with
Speaking
me.
of the Broncos, Brett brings up a good point. Is you think the defense is fed up with Russell Wilson in Denver?
I think everybody's fed up with Russell Wilson in Denver. Let's ride.
Yeah.
They're going to ride him out on a rail.
I mean, they go into Carolina. They got a better defense in Carolina. They got a better – on paper, they may have a better offense.
Dude, they laid
a huge fucking egg.
DJ Moore hasn't done shit all year.
I mean, they let Sam Darnold beat him for Christ's sake. Sam Darnold.
It was SC kind of weekend, I guess.
And Darnold.
But where does it
Darnold
start?
puts up only throws for 164 and a touchdown, but still.
Scott, where does it start though?
What?
I really believe it starts with Hackett.
Oh yeah, I think it does too, Elliot. To be honest,
I think Wilson. I think Wilson. Yes, he has underperformed. I get that, but is Hackett's system even compatible with Russell Wilson?
I mean, John will tell you he hates Hackett. Hackett is the worst coach in the NFL.
Oh, he's the best. What do you mean?
Yes.
I'm just saying. Everybody's quick to judge Russell Wilson and this and that, but Russell Wilson was a damn good quarterback.
Yeah,
or
it's
the right
in the locker room with Russell Wilson.
He flourished under the proper system.
Yeah.
But what system? Look, Hackett he couldn't even be with the team for 3 weeks before he had to get somebody to call plays for him.
Right. I'll be right back in.
Or to do clock management.
Yeah, he's awful. He's absolutely awful. Why does
you know what I'm saying? So
off?
If you demoralize your quarterback, that's going to demoralize your offense, and it's just it's not a pretty situation. And then they mortgage their entire freaking future.
It's great.
I just think that the blame should go to ownership for hiring Nathaniel Hackett. That's where the blame.
All you had to do was look at the resume. All you had to do was look at the resume, man.
Just like barring the Raiders' miraculous victory today because Josh Jacobs ran for 303 yards, Josh McDaniels is still an awful coach.
Oh, he's horrible.
Yeah, but he's not as bad as Hackett.
Oh, they're two pieces of the same pod, man. I mean,
Yeah, but you got to understand is that the Raiders, I think, have better position players than the Broncos do at the vital.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, starting with Devontae Adams, yeah.
Who's the running back?
Starting with Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, yeah, running back.
Latavius Murray is now the running back of the Denver Broncos.
Because they released our good friend
Melvin.
Who's their main wide receiver?
Judy or Sutton.
Right, compared to Devontae Adams.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, dude, I know.
You just can't. It's beyond me to say that management, ownership, the new Walmart people that came in,
Right.
they decided to go Walmart mentality.
I can tell you what happened to the Broncos running game. It reminds me of that scene from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when the Grim Reaper comes to St. Peter and goes, "All right, what happened this time?" Well,
They let Melvin Gordon go.
I got Melvin.
It was, you know what? It's funny. You think of this. It was Melvin Gordon was eating like stuff away from Austin Eckler. So he leaves the Chargers and goes to the Broncos. Now, what happened, if you remember, the Broncos had something really good with what's his name?
Connor?
Javonte Williams?
No.
James Conner?
No, before.
No, Connor wasn't with
Connor was never there. No, he had the big throw. He doesn't play in the league anymore. No. I don't think. He was on like practice squad.
The guy that got the what's his name's number? Terrell Davis's number? Philip Lindsay.
Yes, Philip Lindsay. Right. So you had Philip Lindsay who was really starting to catch on, but Melvin Gordon comes along and starts eating possessions. He did the same thing with the Chargers, but the Chargers wised up and got rid of him when he asked for that 4-year extension. Remember or whatever? He wanted that big extension. Like, no.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the Broncos. And when Philip Lindsay is starting to really catch on, what do? They go to Melvin Gordon again. And then it was, Philip didn't ever recover from that. And Gordon's just been I don't know. I never got
a stumble machine.
And now he's riding the bench in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Did Indy pick him up?
Philip Lindsay?
Oh, Lindsay. Okay. I was going to say, Gordon doesn't have a team yet, does he?
No, Gordon without a team.
He's looking.
Yeah, Latavius Murray and Marlon Mack are your options. What do you do?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I don't think Melvin Gordon's going to be hearing a lot of pounding on his front door.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Bravo to the Chargers for calling his bluff, man. Because imagine if they got into that freaking contract, baby, dude, wow. But I always noticed that it was he literally was eating carries away from Eckler when Eckler was clearly the better back.
Yeah.
So bravo to Seattle for robbing Denver blind.
Oh, bravo to Seattle. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like who called that? Like everyone was like, oh man, Seattle's in rebuild mode. Along comes Geno.
Geno has been playing very well up to this point. I mean,
he had a couple.
He's in the lead for comeback player of the year, I would think. Would you guys think so?
I wouldn't imagine. I would imagine.
Yeah, Brian Robinson too, but he wasn't anywhere there at the start last year, so I don't think rookies can.
Yeah, he wasn't a rookie. He's a rookie.
He wasn't a rookie, so he can't get that.
There's nothing to come back from except his incident.
Yeah.
The fact that he got shot and is playing like at this level, it's good. Yeah. It's awesome for him. And that meme today is just going to be. I'm going to make sure I share that everywhere.
He's definitely a feel-good
front runner for headgear of the year.
Yeah, headgear of the year for sure.
So, looking ahead to tonight, news broke the last couple of days that Aaron Rodgers has been playing with an avulsion fracture in his thumb.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When Aaron Rodgers doesn't do well, all of a sudden there's wrong.
Issues. Right, yeah.
Yeah, there are always issues.
Whether it be COVID toe,
COVID toe? That's
COVID
nice
toe?
COVID toe. I like that one. COVID
What the
toe.
hell is that?
That sounds like something I would suffer from greatly.
That's what Deion Sanders had.
Remember when he had the toe injury?
No, I know. I think that's hilarious. Like COVID toe. I wonder if
Deion
he had COVID toe because he didn't, vaccinate and all that.
Yeah, we didn't talk about your Niners, Elliot, shutting out the Saints today.
Dude, I don't want to talk.
That was not a major accomplishment. First of all, because Andy Dalton is garbage. Second of all, and New Orleans is just underperforming under Andy Dalton. I don't see why Jameis Winston is not in there, sowing his oats and getting himself acclimated to a team that he's going to take over.
Well, Jameis has a better arm than Andy Dalton does. He's got a stronger arm, at least.
Andy Dalton is washed up. He needs to just leave, go back to Mayberry or wherever he's from. And
Katie.
the 49ers actually look like shit today, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I don't get with the 49ers, man. Like, there's some weeks where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is a juggernaut. It's the greatest.
Well, you know what I think? You know what I think, though? I really believe in to the core, I believe this, okay, is that playing that game in Mexico in that particular elevation,
The atmosphere.
okay, that takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
and the
because
pollution too.
My
That's always fun.
high is at sea level compared to Mexico.
Mexico is actually higher in elevation than Denver is.
Much
7,000
higher.
or 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
Plus,
Did
they
you see how
have the
many
worst
players were
air
cramping up?
quality in the face of the
Did you
earth.
see the players that were cramping up and they had to have tanks and all that shit on the sidelines?
Yes.
And then, not to mention that you're in Mexico, you're gonna do a few extra things that you normally don't do. And,
Well, yeah. Well, after Mexico,
and I really do think that they overlooked New Orleans. They looked past New Orleans. I mean, who's their next opponent? Who the Niners playing next? I can't tell you because I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Hang on. I got it coming up here.
Okay. In week
What's coming up?
13, is it?
Well, they got Miami next week.
Okay, so that's something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Because Miami is tough. You get a team like New Orleans coming in, it's kind of like the same thing that the Giants did with Detroit.
Yeah, the next three games
The
they've got
Giants
Miami.
totally looked past Detroit to concentrate on Dallas.
Yeah.
And they got their asses whooped by
Yeah.
Detroit, even worse than what Dallas did to them.
Yeah, I mean the next 3 weeks they've got Miami, Tampa, and they're at Seattle. So that's three tough games in a row coming up.
Right. So they saw this as their easy game before that 3-game stretch.
Yeah.
And when you do that, I don't care how bad the team is. Okay. Of course, New Orleans lived up to their reputation because they didn't score. All right. But the 49ers played down to their level.
To the competition.
Right. They played down to that competition. And hopefully, I mean, they got Miami at home next week. Hopefully that plus another week of rest after the whole Mexico thing. It has the makings of what could be a really phenomenal football game.
Well, yeah, they pulled Tua after the third quarter because they were up 30-0.
Yeah, and then when they
against
pulled
Texans.
Tua, Houston started scoring.
Yeah, I mean, and then they let the Texans somewhat come back, and they scored 15 points in the fourth quarter, but they were still doomed to
It was
lose.
never in doubt.
Yeah.
It was never in doubt.
Brett brings up a
Check
good
into
topic.
right quick.
This is what happened. If you guys didn't see the screenshots from Cleveland State from First Energy Field today, there were tire tracks in the middle of the field
Oh yeah.
on the north end zone or whatever it was. I mean, and apparently somebody jumped the fence at First Energy Stadium and decided to do donuts on the field. To be honest, I don't know if they caught the guy. I don't know if it was a golf cart or if it was an F-150 like Brett says. But it's just, it's the most action that field has seen since today. So, it was kind of a funny side note that somebody left tire tracks in the middle of First Energy Field.
Was this after the game?
They want to do donuts in the field, and they kind of damaged the grass a little bit. But the NFL said it was okay to play on. It was just aesthetic. It wasn't physical damage to the field, and they were okay to play on it today.
As far as tonight's game goes, I need Jalen Hurts to score 40. I need Devontae Smith to score another 20, 25.
I need Jalen Hurts to go off tonight.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I need tonight.
I need the Packers to win.
No.
Yes, he does. He needs the Packers to win so Dallas can
Dude,
round
I don't
up.
care if the Packers win. I just need Jalen Hurts to go off.
He needs the Eagles to lose.
And we're speaking of fantasy.
Bro, you know what's crazy?
What's
You
that?
know what you know what I saw today? It's like it was 16 years or something since Sean Taylor died.
Yes. Did you guys
Yeah,
see that
Memorial
statue that the Commanders put up in
Wow.
That was pretty
in field
intense,
this
dude.
morning?
Dude, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah,
Just seemed like yesterday he was taking
Unbelievable.
that dude's head off in the Pro Bowl.
right. It's been 15 years since Sean Taylor passed away.
15.
Yes.
Dude.
And that
Crazy.
memorial that the Commanders put up to dedicate him was a disgrace. Because all it was a freaking mannequin with 3 different logos on the uniform. And
I
it
didn't
just
see it.
it did him no justice. It really didn't. It was disgusting. It really was terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
it was bad. It was really bad. If you haven't seen it, go find it. It's not pretty.
If it's
It's
bad,
just basically
it's
a metal
bad.
frame with a uniform on it. Is all it is.
That's great. It's a good job.
It's typical Washington.
Well, it's typical Washington. You're right, Ken. It's typical Dan Snyder, is what it
Yes.
is.
Typical Dan Snyder.
So
It's
you know,
not right.
no one cares, Brett. You're right. We're not talking college football today because I'm in the morning. Congratulations, Ken, again.
You're welcome. Thanks.
But you know, I mean, it was a good week. I mean, there were some really good games today, some surprising results as far as wins are concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it was, I mean, Jacksonville beating Baltimore, Cleveland beating Tampa Bay, Carolina just dominating Denver, which we didn't think would happen.
Big shout out to Sam Darnold.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sammy D.
Man.
He did.
And I'll tell you what, Ken, the Commanders are no pushover now. They're a
Oh,
tough.
no.
They're a tough
That's what I said.
yeah,
They are
they're
not.
a tough
And Chase Young is
well.
not even
You
back
know
yet.
what? You could easily see the 4 teams in the NFC East make the playoffs.
That's the
What
best
is that?
division in football
Remember
right
when
now.
it was the NFC
All
least
4.
last
Yeah.
year? Last
Yeah.
year?
Now it's went from least to
It's the best division in the NFC right now.
By far.
Yeah, man.
Go figure.
It's great to see.
The only one with all 4
Philly
teams
stuff
above
I can tell.
500.
It's when everyone was hating on Jalen Hurts. And I think me and Elliot were the only ones last year going, this dude's going to be amazing.
Right. And then the
This is gonna
NFC
be
South
amazing.
has every team
Under
under 500.
Can you imagine? They're probably going to wind up being like
They're still going to get
Seahawks-
the winner of that division is still going to get a home
Seahawks from a few years
playoff
back.
game. What's that, Elliot?
the Seahawks from a few years back when Marshawn Lynch
Yeah.
they beat the Saints in Seattle.
He won the division with 7-9 record.
Lynchquake?
They won. Yeah, they won with a 7-9 record with the earthquake run. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's gonna that could happen this season.
Let's see. Okay, that was NFC West. NFC East has been that bad. Now the NFC South. And the next is the NFC North.
Yes.
See what happens to them the next
It's
year
gonna
or two.
travel. Yeah, the bug will travel.
It's AFC South is the worst than AFC, right?
Yes, correct. Which means the Tennessee losing today didn't really have any effect on that division because they're still
That's not a
leading
good
the
start there, Jalen. Oh, my bad.
Oh dear. Eagles are wearing their all black again.
division. Is it black or just really dark
No,
green?
it's black.
It's black.
Is it black?
Yes. I hate those.
Well, I hate the Eagles anyway. So
I do.
Don't hate,
Goes
man.
without saying.
Guys, we got to love.
Okay.
Love.
I won't say hate. I'll just say despise.
you just despise them or dislikes them.
Vehemently dislike.
Mm.
How's that?
I'm excited.
And I've been to that stadium too. It's a very nice stadium.
I've been by it in Philadelphia.
I've been in it.
I've been to Philadelphia one time in my lifetime, and
What an awful throw.
Every
Jalen,
time.
what's that?
Every time I make a pointer or field goal,
Is
I
the
know
game on
yeah,
already?
that stadium is in South Philadelphia, right next to where they play baseball for the Phillies,
Yep.
and
Jalen
across
just
the way
got a
from
pass block
the
and
ice
then
rink
a
too.
throw.
So
He's not West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days.
huh?
Wow, really? Really?
I didn't catch that whole
In
thing.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the
All right,
playground. is
Fresh
where I
Prince of
fell in
Bel
love.
Air. Okay,
Thank you.
very much.
My goodness, man, you're not that old.
Well, I
maybe
didn't
you
catch the whole thing because I was talking over you, and I apologize for that.
are. That's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to Philly one time, Kenny,
There go the leg.
and I've been by the museum, saw the Rocky statue, saw Independence Hall, saw Liberty Bell,
I
had
had
a
to.
cheesesteak, been down South Philly, passing
Oh, Jalen.
the lake,
There
passing
you go. That's what I'm
the
talking
baseball stadium,
Oh,
and the ice hockey
I
rink.
did not get to go to Pat's or Gino's for my.
I didn't do Pasadeno's. It was like an offshoot underneath an
Yeah,
overpass.
that's what I
underneath
did
an
too.
overpass
I think
somewhere.
it was a hotel. I think.
Yeah, the place I
Yeah.
went to is underneath an overpass, right across the street from I think the baseball park there. I don't know. I don't remember it vividly, but it was good.
Yeah.
I got whiz,
Yeah.
so it is what it is.
You got whizzed?
No, I got whiz on my Philly
Cheese whiz.
steak.
Oh, you got.
You always
oh,
take the cheese whiz on
right,
the Philly
okay.
cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak.
I didn't think you got whiz. I'm like,
No,
what?
I don't like cheese whiz.
Somebody peed on
No.
your shit.
Getting
That's what I
whizzed
was
is what you
thinking,
do.
when he said that.
No, John. Getting whizzed is what you do to the Patriots.
I understand.
End zone.
I understand
Oh, well,
now.
from
but
getting
when I heard
whiz,
it-
you got pissed on.
yeah, that's what that's what I heard. What Elliot said. Like, you got whizzed. What did you get peed on?
No.
You were
Getting
like,
whizzed is what you do to the Patriots end zone when you're there. So
What dog pissed on you?
no.
yeah.
You got
Yeah.
whizzed.
Like it's
All right, we
regional.
got about 3 minutes to
there's
go.
2
What
minutes
else you
left.
guys wanted to bring up before we go?
Congratulations to Ken is the only guy who seems to care about this, but the U.S. men's team is looking pretty decent. World Cup, so a lot better than Canada, that's for sure.
Well, I salute to Davies. He finally got the first Canada goal in history of the World Cup.
goal ever in World Cup history for Canada.
So Ken, let me ask you. I asked John this. I'm going to ask you this. Was the draw against England that big of a deal?
Yes,
Oh yeah, it's good.
we
That
could
was
have
like a
won.
victory.
We could have won if
That was
we
almost just like a
had gotten a
victory.
good cross in, and we had opportunities to galore to score.
Yeah.
Weston McKinney put 2 into the 15th row
Yeah.
behind the goal. We straightened that out. We got 2 goals right there. We could have won that game. We
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
we should have beaten Wales. We should have
They
6 points
consider
right now.
they consider that particular 0-0 tie a victory for the United States.
Yeah, and we play Iran on Tuesday, right?
That's great if you're still looking for participation trophies, which I'm tired of those.
Well,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we can beat Iran. It's going to be bloodbath, but I think we can do that and get into the second round. Where we go from there, who knows? But
Think of the matchups of that
Give
group.
the ball to Sanders, damn
Like,
it.
Have a couple of these countries ever had, I don't know, tension in the past? America, England, America, Iran.
mhm.
See,
Yeah.
we all need to just.
The only
hug it
one we
out.
haven't had tensions with was Wales. And,
Right.
Yeah.
but did you hear about the riots they had in Belgium today? Because
Yes, they did. When Morocco beat Belgium, yes. 2-0. Morocco beats Belgium.
Belgium's got
They
waffle,
riot the
man.
streets of Belgium.
Oh, poor Belgium. And that was actually the squad I was hoping to come out of. They're not even going to get out of the group.
Oh, yeah.
Canada and Belgium
I
is
have
going to get kicked out.
I have France and Argentina in the World Cup final. And
Messi got his
Argentina
first
France
goal in
is
China.
Yep.
France.
Mexico's about out. Costa Rica could park the bus against Germany. Who knows? And Germany barely got out of the game today.
Dude, they could have won that in like the last minute.
They could have, and they could have also
That
been
was,
eliminated today
like,
too.
Unbelievable. Yeah, man.
If they had lost, if Spain had gotten the second goal, Germany would be going home.
There's Jalen Hurts. We all love and know and love.
Look at him go. Look at him go.
Uh,
Look at him go. I love me some Jalen Hurts. Love it.
Another Texas quarterback.
Ouch.
do not
I
give the
love
ball to Miles
Jalen
Sanders,
Hurts.
please.
All right, fellas. We're at 8:30. I'm going to
May
rest
the
my
Schwartz
voice.
May the Schwartz be with you.
And
Oh, that's what everyone's comparing those big hats to now is Dark Helmet from Spaceballs.
Oh,
Just-
God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, everybody. We're going to call it a night.
Here's Brett Foley.
Thank you so much to my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big Eddy Lamba. Mr. John G. Olson, and Ken Koslow for joining us. As always, John, I will send you the recording.
Thanks, man.
All right. And we will be back again next Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, same channel, same bat time. On behalf of my co-host, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we're out. Elliot, play the outro.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we are still alive to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And his co-host, John Olson, Ken Tasso, multiple members in the Rat Pack, and yes, me, Big E, the entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we would like to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing. And for heaven's sake, please wear a damn mask. You all just got hit with a pack rant from the Rat Pack. And with that, fellas, we